No, I hear you.
I think if I may speak,
I will let
Peter
you speak because I respect you.
I beat him at home.
Restaurant Punk, what's up?
Restaurant Punk
Restaurant Punk
In the house.
Good evening.
Hey guys.
Hey Nikos.
What's
going
happening?
What's poppin',
I
little
like your
mom?
shirt.
Looking good.
Every time you wear
I
that
know.
shirt, I love it.
Thank you.
Great color on you.
I appreciate that.
Great color on you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm a big blue guy.
Love that.
Big blue guy.
Um,
I'm a big blue guy. Blue
Can we order
everywhere.
some shirts from you? I don't think I have any.
I'm still
I
waiting
have
for an
one.
order.
Are you?
Yeah. No, but yeah. I'll do it.
All right.
welcome back. Who has a topic? Because I came empty-handed today.
Yeah, so like I was talking to my wife, Kate, the other day, and we were
Met her a couple
discussing
times.
about our relationship working together. We were discussing about when we used to work all the time together,
Mm-hmm.
and now we discuss about not having to work together and how different it was. So my topic for you guys, since you guys are together,
Are we in a therapy session?
almost, is how you feel and manage lives. How do couples manage their lives, their work lives and their home lives, working together all the time and then living at the same time? Because a lot of people can't handle that kind of stuff. Because Kate and I could, like we did, but it was just a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But some people work super well and not let it affect them at the house. So how do you guys? Do you bring it home? Do you leave it at the
can't
house?
not
Do you leave it
bring
at the
work
restaurant?
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
You
not.
can't avoid it.
There's literally not a day that goes by to where we're like, we don't bring work home. I mean, it revolves around everything because, even if you don't work in the same industry or work together, you still come home and you talk about work to your partner. I think that we do a good job of hanging certain things up while relaxing. Number one thing I have to say of why I feel like we work so well together is because we just have a lot of respect for one another's opinions, work ethic.
And
just
also
each
our
other.
main concentration at the restaurant, whether it be just one item or 7 items, are different. Because mine revolve around the kitchen. Hers revolves around the front of the house. I prefer to stay in the kitchen. She prefers the front. She prefers to design the place. I prefer to
Not.
let somebody better than me accomplish that. Like, we have different roles just for the same reason my brother and I worked well together from the 2000s to now. We focus and respect each other, but we focus on different tasks at
or
hand,
avenues,
avenues, all the above. And I think the exact same can be said working with Noelle side by side, because she'll see things that bother her that I overlook in the front of the house, and I see things in the kitchen that I want to fix. And that's why I think it works well for us.
Which is
You
great.
and Kate worked, like, the kitchen, but you and Kate worked together in the front when it was a restaurant. You and Kate opened up another business that is out of the restaurant business, that there's no different sections of it. There's no front of the house, back of the house. It's the business that you guys opened, the Muddy Paws. You're both working together at it.
Do you feel that couples in the beginning versus putting a lot of time into it, many, many years, it'd be the same? Because you guys are fairly new, right?
Very new.
So you guys are still into that early phase. Not saying you're
Are we talking about business or relationship?
relationship overall.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
like what I'm saying is that, and I'm not saying this in a negative way,
I'm going to take it that way.
it's okay. I feel like even with Kate and I, in the beginning, it was different. And then the more time we spent with each other, the longer we ran businesses, it started conflicting because I had ideas she didn't agree with. She had ideas I didn't agree with, and we clashed, but we also took it home. And then home also took it back to the business, right? And let's say hypothetically, all hypothetically, she had a problem with something in the kitchen over and over
Always.
and over again, but that's your field.
Right.
So would you feel like you were being diminished, like cut down in the sense of like, do your stuff, do your job, whatever, and have a resentment for that, and vice versa? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
I think if I may speak,
I will let
Peter
you
and
speak because I
I-
respect you.
I beat him at home. No.
And at work.
I think that like Peter and I, and anybody who knows us, we are not confrontational in certain ways. Like we're not combative. So for him and I, like we've been together for 2.5 years. And in 2.5 years, there's never been a moment to where we have been frustrated at the point that we didn't want to see each other. We literally everything that we've ever been hurt or frustrated or this, like we sit down very calmly and we talk about it, and we're really good at putting each other in each other's shoes or seeing the other point of view. Like we've never yelled, we've never raised voices, we've never fought. We've literally never had one fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like even in 2 years of being with like any past relationship I've been in, obviously there's been a fight in the first couple of years. I think that, again, it comes with the level of respect that we have for one another and the trust that we have. I think it really comes down to trust at the end of the day. Like I trust him entirely when it comes to restaurants, obviously, because he's been in this field for so long. I also trust him with my life. I trust him with our finances. I trust him with, well, kind of. He just bought some weird like liquid smoke jelly that NASA made.
What?
I know.
We'll talk about it later.
For the most part, I trust him with our finances.
What did I tell you after I bought that? I said, you will be in charge of finances.
In the future. He came in the kitchen and was
like 40
moving
bucks,
forward.
and I'm like, you know what?
But that's the thing is like, we're not combative. And even if I tell him like, please talk to the kitchen about running the silverware and this throughout the night, or giving us a heads up, you know, and giving us a count on, you know, the steaks, instead of just being like, up 86, it's like, no, let me know when I have 4 left, you know, and I do hold him accountable for those things. And I'm like, hey, I need you. Like, you never have to talk to anybody in the front. You never have to talk to the girls. You never have to make a schedule. Like, that's all on me, and I will totally handle that. But when it comes to some discrepancies in the kitchen, I do hold him accountable for that. But again, in a way to where I'm like, hey, I realize that this isn't firsthand your fault, but I do trust that you're going to fix this.
And look, there are times when if it doesn't work or the problem doesn't get fixed and she says, yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I forgot to tell the kitchen or speak to them. Or there are other times where I'm like, yeah, I told them. I'm sorry. I'll follow up on that next time. But there's a mutual respect. And even though I've had a lot more experience opening restaurants, I trust her in the front. She can give people a great experience in the place. And being with Noelle for 2 years and opening a restaurant with her this past year, and working with my brother for 20 years, you know, we've gotten into, I wouldn't say arguments, but we're both on different pages. And we respect each other enough to say, like, I'll be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I trust you. Let's roll with it, because there's that respect there. And if you don't have that with your partner, it could go like this. And it's okay if this happens, but you got to handle this properly. You got to talk about it and work on it and just reach a decision together.
And I genuinely prefer to do that at home. I don't prefer to do it in the restaurant. I don't want anybody to ever see us being on conflicting pages. And again, we always respect each other. We're never mean, malicious, nasty, anything, and, you know, degrading to one another in any kind of way. But I would prefer to be like, hey, I want to talk about this when we get home, as opposed to pulling Peter aside at the restaurant and being like, we need to solve this right here and now, and other people seeing that internal conflict.
Yeah, I understand that. And I agree 100%.
And I don't know if it would be any different in 3 to 5 years, being, you know, just working together now for 1 full year. It's been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't speak to your question of, do you think it'll change? Yeah, what the future is going to hold.
The question that I was saying about taking it home isn't a matter of any grudges or discrepancies or problems. It was a matter of, you worked all day together and now you're going home. What do you talk about? You've seen the person, you've talked all you've talked. You said all you said, you've seen the same things, you've done the same things. And then it's like, you go home and then what?
That's also easy, is we are very comfortable in each other's silence as well.
Okay.
Like, if we've talked all day, and part of being in the front of house is I have to talk all day. I'm literally giving every last ounce of my energy to everybody in the room to create an energy for the room. And it's absolutely draining sometimes. So there's times where I get home and Peter's like very chatty, but he reads me and I read him. Like, if there's a moment where it's like, okay, you clearly don't want to have a conversation right now. Like, we're comfortable in knowing that it's not personal. It is just, that's mentally where I am.
That's good.
At a 0 right now, and you're at 100. And that's where, like,
which is not often.
Marriages and relationships are never going to be 50-50 all the time.
Yep.
And we understand that. Like, we read each other very well. There's times where, many mornings where I wake up and I'm like, and Peter's like, oh my God, he will never even say that. He just looks at me with this shell look like, please let me have 4 more coffees before you ask me one question about the restaurant today. And I'm like, all right. And then I sit in my room twitching until I can ask him a question. But I respect the fact that he is not a human for at least another 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
No, not in the mornings.
Well, I know that. My question is that, though, how long can you think you could do that? How long does a couple, with what you're saying, give your silences, you take away from the home relationship, you take away from the romance, you take away from the comfort of being just with each other?
I don't know. It's really hard because I feel like, again, maybe we are in still like in the new phases of our relationship. And, now the honeymoon phase, we're engaged and things are so exciting and we're planning all these things and we're still planning a future together to where, do I think that we're going to work together forever? Absolutely not. Yanni's been trying to not separate us as a couple, but separate us as business owners. And he talks about it often because we do get very comfortable. Like, we are very comfortable with each other. And I think because of that, we don't push boundaries together, as opposed to when we're separate, we push boundaries more.
I think it's not for everybody to work together. You can't work with a significant other. Well, I take that back. Not everybody can work with your significant other or family member, because I've seen and I'm sure a lot of people have heard lots of stories of them fighting, getting torn apart, or just ruining relationships. And there's something to be said about working in different industries or just different jobs in the same industry, because you have 2 lives. You have your work life and then you have your home life. And sometimes being with somebody 24/7 tears them apart. And you know what? Going on, I would say 2 years and 1 full year of being together all the time, we're doing great. I don't know how long it can last, or it could last 20 years. But it's nice to have, for most people, they like having that separation. They like having that because it's a change of pace.
I personally I feel like I've had jobs to where I've come home and I'm like, I want to vent or talk or this, and that person's not understanding of that field or what I'm talking about, and they can't put themselves in my shoes and they don't understand. And that becomes almost frustrating as a partner too. Because it's like, okay, for Kate, like, you have no idea what I went through at the store today all day, but yet you're dealing with kitchen and this and that and the restaurant. They're 2 completely different fields. And sometimes, I mean, I know that you guys have both worked in both industries and you've helped each other out, but there's not many times to where, like, where a couple is working in 2 completely different fields that they can really level with each other and understand what that person's going through in their job or their day-to-day life, to where every day Peter and I, like, he knows and feels and understands my frustration, especially because this is newer for me, to where I feel like he sees what he went through and he can be way more patient. And I trust that he's been through this to follow suit,
Yeah, I get you. I still disagree. I'm sorry. I love everything that you guys are doing, but I still feel like your partner, you can't work together. It just takes away from a lot. And a lot of people have business as their entire blood, but we do have a personal life at home that we need to unwind.
We're talking about how it affects us.
Well, I asked you guys the question, of course.
I think a whole other topic for another day is, how does it affect the business? And I think we should save that for next time.
Part 2, let's do it.
I think we should bring Yanni on for the next one, because I know he'll have a lot of things to say.
Effing love it. He would have a thing or 2 to say, if not 5.
Because that's 2 totally different topics. And that's how it affects us personally. But yeah, I think next time we should talk about how it affects the business.
I agree.
Vice versa.
Let's do it.
So
I would say, yeah.
I am the Pete.
Yes, you
Noelle.
are. Yes, you are. I'm Nikos. Yes, I am.
Restaurant Punk.
Till next time, everybody.
Peace out.
Restaurant.
Right? That is 2 different conversations, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yanni's glitching. He's got fucking hate this topic.
What you got? What do you want?